Welcome to PricePlow.
January of 2011. I guess I just kind of knew had a lot of personal things going on in my life, kind of deterring me away from football. But I just had this urge and desire to do a bodybuilding show. It was just I can't really explain it, but my brother really pushed me. Brian Moss, a good friend of mine, brother, really pushed me into it. So in January 2011, I decided to do it. 2011 was the first show. And so I did the show. And then 2 weeks later, since I won that show, 2 weeks later in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is the city I was just talking about where I just moved from, there was another show and it was a national qualifier. And I was like, well, I won this one. Never expected to win, man. I just wanted to do it to see how good I could look, and maybe pick up a chick or two or something, I don't know.
And you were only 21.
Yeah.
21.
No, I was only 20.
20.
I was only 20. I had just turned 20 like 3 weeks before my first show. And I won the overall in the junior class there. And I thought, well, what the hell? Why not? I didn't really know what nationally qualified meant, but I knew this next show was a national qualifier. I didn't even know what the national shows consisted of. Like, I didn't know that there was a difference in junior nationals and nationals and USAs and North Americans. I didn't know none of that shit. Yeah. I was just like, well, nationally qualified sounds cool, so let's go for it. And so the next 2 weeks, I stayed in prep, and I did the battle on the river in Chattanooga. I won the overall there as well. And that's when I was like, well, because I competed against some good guys. Benny Blair, who was a good friend of mine who actually passed a couple years ago, rest in peace, Benny. He competed against me. My good friend Andrew Hall, some good bodybuilders, people that I kind of knew of and was like, man, these guys are reputable. And I beat them. So I was like, well, maybe I got something here. So I decided to kind of take an off season. But even then, the off season wasn't that serious. I was still not struggling, but still having to work for a living. And I was having to do, typical job type stuff.
Sure.
Bouncing, shit you do when you're 20, 21.
Yeah.
I was bouncing in the bars, working, odd and end jobs, this, that, and the other, working for my brother at the gym. And I ended up winning the overall there. I just kind of went into a little off season and because I never really put much, all I'd done is a prep. I never really put much effort into bodybuilding. Built up a little bit, and then the next year, September 2012, when I was 21, I did the North Americans. I won the overall there. Thanks to Dan Decker actually winning the Masters. And a lot of people don't remember this, but you do. If it wasn't for Dan Decker winning the Masters, I never would have turned pro at that show.
Because how it worked is there's the Masters division went before.
Over 35,
it's over 35, went first.
Yeah.
So when he won his pro card, because he had done both, when he won his pro card, they're like, okay, that's it. They weren't going to let him go back to win a second pro card because then you're just taking the spot of somebody else.
Yeah.
So by the vacuum created by, basically he would have won all of it.
Yeah.
Because he won before, just because the class is how they do Masters first. When it got to open, he was out of it. And then Dallas. So
needless to say, to this day, I still love Dan Decker.
So I was going to say, can we say Dan created Dallas McCarver? No, I'm just kidding.
In a way, if it wasn't for
I think there's a possibility that if, in your mind, if you wouldn't have won, do you think there's any chance that you would have not tried again, or would that potentially been it?
Ooh, good question.
I knew going out of prejudging that I was second to Dan. A lot of people told me I was competing for first. I am very hard on myself, and I saw the fucking pictures, and I don't think there was much competition. Dan is much older, much more developed, much more experienced bodybuilder. I think he had me, let's be real. But I knew I was coming in for second, so I was thrilled as hell. I was backstage. First time at a national show. I just got second. I'm nationally qualified for another year.
So you would have come back no matter what.
Oh, I was already making plans to fly down and do nationals in a few weeks.
Nice.
So if I didn't win there, I probably would have won nationals anyways. I don't know. Justin Compton won nationals. I might not have beat Justin then. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But anyways, it's woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Right.
But the point is, a lot of people forget that's how I actually won my pro card was Dan turning pro in the Masters. So
that's cool, man.
Love you, Dan Decker.